protection for showing up. Don't know if you guys got what it takes to be a real band, but we'll see. See the face we got there? I got a doctor, and here come the judge, here come the judge. Muggsy McLovin in the house, along with the doctor, Tim Dugan. I'm the DJ Bugsy. This is the Sports Report for October?
September 24th.
Feels like October.
September 24, 2012. It's getting a little nippy in the air. We're almost in the Pee Wee playoff football. We'll talk a little bit about that, but it's time to bang the gavel. Here come the judge. Here come the judge.
All rise. Yes, sir. What can I say? It's September 24th, and we played 4 weeks of high school football so far. What's with the twos?
I don't know. I'm getting ready to beat a Moose tomorrow night. It's just coming at him. Sorry.
Anyway, like I said, 4 weeks, so now we have a pretty good idea of who's who and who isn't in the Lackawanna Football Conference. And if you've been following my tweets at Judge Bugsy at Twitter, after every week I've done a top 10.
Every week, yeah, I noticed that. And it's great because you have what the paper says are the 10 best teams. I don't want to know that. I want to know who he thinks are the best 10.
Yes, sir. And, after the 4 weeks, I've got 5 teams that are 3-1. And I got 5 teams that are 4-0. So, what do you expect? We'll start it off with Riverside. I thought
Number 10.
Number 10. I thought that Riverside would be the single A favorite this year, but a lot of that would change when they lost to West Scranton on opening night 26-20. Yeah, the next week they haven't played their best football yet, because the week after that, Carbondale almost beat them 30. Riverside won that game 32-28, and then week 3 they had the shootout at the Moscow Corral.
Wow!
A lot of offense in that game.
A 57-47 win over North Pocono.
Exciting.
But you know what? With all those scores, the offense has been, as you might expect, dynamic. Nick Dranchak's already over 1,000 yards passing.
Well over, right?
Yeah. That North Pocono game alone, he had 474 yards passing. That's half of it right there. Yeah. And of course, Dave Sweetman he's already got over 600 rushing and receiving yards on top of that. I mean, they're a dynamic offense, but
Coach Evan Pearl knows how to get offense going.
yeah, another West. There's a West alum right there. Yeah. So we'll see how they go.
Big game this week, right?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that real quick in a few minutes. And we'll go to number 9.
Number 9.
The big dropper from last week was Dudmore. 3-1.
What were they last week on your top 10?
They were 3.
They were 3. So you went from 3 to 9.
To be fair,
the popular opinion was they were 1.
Yeah, but to be fair, they've had their 2 running backs, Seaman and Buckley, are injured right now. Like Buckley was injured in the 2nd game against GAR, and then Seaman was injured in the 3rd game against West Scranton. But to Seaman's credit, he came in, he made that big tackle against Brownlee from West Scranton.
On a 2-point conversion. Yeah.
So, but he could give it a good go last week, and they lost 21-0 to Old Forge. They had no offense without those 2 players. So we'll see what happens in future down the line as they get into division play.
Tough team. They could probably beat anybody.
They get those kids back. They're a much better team. But we'll see what happens. And that brings me to number 8. That brings me to the aforementioned West Scranton Invaders. Like I said, they're 3-1. They only have the 1 loss, the 7-6 loss to Dunmore. It's been the power running of Marquise Brownlee.
Big strong lines too, West on both sides.
Yeah,
they're a tough team.
It's your daddy's West Scranton.
It is.
Yeah.
Run and defense.
Run, and the occasional tight end pop pass.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's hard to argue with.
They turned a few heads this year.
Yeah, it's hard to argue 599 yards of rushing for Brownlee. They have a good. They have a good threat on the perimeter. John Devine. He had the punt return against Dunmore for the touchdown. He already had has 10 receptions in 4 games for 146 yards.
And the quarterback will only improve.
McClough, yeah.
He's only gonna
they don't
improve.
ask him to do much, but they ask him to execute.
Big fan of our show. You know that.
McClough.
All the McClows. They love us. Cheers.
Yes, sir. But they face a big game. Actually, they face 2 big games the next couple weeks. They're hosting Delaware Valley Friday, and then some game next week that we'll be talking about promptly.
I can't wait to see what Muxie has ranked ahead, Delaware Valley or Scranton, or where they fall.
Yeah, but we'll get in. Like I said, we'll get into that next week. Number 7,
Number
7.
the Comets of Abington Heights.
Ooh.
They are also 3-1. They dropped the game to Delaware Valley last week, 34-14. But it was somewhat misleading. They were down 21-0. They came back, made it 21-14, and then they ultimately fell 34-14. But Abington, they're going to be good. I mean,
Coach Epstich has them back. And
yeah, the Big Show, I think we've called it.
Well, it's the Big Show.
Yes, sir. 17 receptions, 300 yards so far in the early going of the season. But you know what? He's a good downfield threat. You can't blow the box against Abington and expect to win. You got to keep your eyes on number 12.
You gotta stay honest there.
Yeah, he's obviously the favorite target for Pascuiglio, and they are our number 17. And our number 6 team,
Number 6.
the Cavaliers of Scranton Prep.
Oh, they still mad at LeBron.
Yeah.
They hate him at Scranton. Right?
They
Don't like
burned
it.
his jersey.
Yeah, they did.
The other 3, the last 3-1 team in the countdown, but of the 4 teams that have played Scranton so far, they had the best showing, 43-21 defeat to the Knights last Friday. But it was a game which early on it looked like it was going to be an Electric City shootout. It was 15-13 after the first period. Both teams were moving the ball up and down. Prep was running their top running back, Marshall Kopinski, behind their big offensive line, which is led by Noah Bay, who's leading.
He built that arc
Yeah.
by the bay.
Yeah, I heard
Beat me to it.
I heard he's a junior, and I think he's going to play. He's committed to Syracuse so far. He's verbal commit to Syracuse.
I had a good going for carpenter school for the art thing with the doctor. Nice
Yeah.
You added
nice,
it in it.
nice
Yeah,
one. Oh, no, that was good.
I'll let it go, Doc.
That was a good
I'll
one.
let it go.
That was a good one.
I'll let that one go. But like I said, Prep, they're 3-1. Kapitsky had over 100 yards in the game against Scranton. He has over 400 for the season. And of course, the eye opener they had in week 1, the 12-6 win over Wyoming area, where they beat one of the best athletes in all of District 2, Nick O'Brien. He's the quarterback / running back / wide receiver. So, but Prep, they're in the hunt for the 3A for the districts, which brings us to the 5 unbeaten teams.
Number
5.
And now this is a team that's obviously been under the radar. They're single A, and they're obviously not going to get the attention the other single A teams do. They're the Lackawanna Trail Lions.
The Lions.
They are a run first, run second, run third, run fourth, run fifth kind of team.
Wow.
And when they don't run, they're going to run some more.
Yes, sir. They're 4-0, but to be fair, they've played opponents that just don't have the ability of Lackawanna Trail. The next 3 weeks, we're going to see what the Lions are made of. They're at
Playing in Rutgers division.
Yeah, they're at Rutgers is ranked in the AP poll from what I heard. But anyway, they're at Mid Valley this week, and then they host Carbondale, which is 2-2, a very tough 2-2, if I should say that. Carbondale is in my honorable mention. They are 2-2, and Old Forge after that in week 7. So like I said, we'll know more about Trail in the next few weeks. They are led by the dynamic running of Greenlee and Muzara.
Muzara, wasn't he in the Lion King movie? Same guy? Kid?
Yeah. Between them, they have
The
set.
father.
They pretty much have split the carries and they've split the yards. They have 790 yards combined between them. Jeremy Greenlee is 410. Pete Muzara is 380.
Wow.
So they're splitting the carries up there,
They like to run.
up in Dalton.
Roadhouse.
And that brings us to number 4.
Number
4.
The Valley View Cougars.
The Krugers. Quarterback Freddie.
Yes, sir.
Krugerrand. Mel Gibson and Danny Glover found a
Ready? And Valley View, I mean, you wonder what was going to come from them after their great season last year. And it was a little sluggish opening night against Walpole-Pack. They were down 15-0 to begin that game. They eventually won it 48-28. And then week 2 against Lakeland, which is another team in my honorable mention. I have 2, Carbondale and Lakeland, in my honorable mention. And but they lost their running back, Tyler Phillips, to a knee injury in that game.
The screwdriver!
Now, his return this season is questionable. They don't know when he's coming back, if he's coming back this season at all. So we'll find that out over the coming weeks. But Valley View, they get their next big test Friday. They will be hosting Scranton.
Ooh, in Peckville.
In Peckville. That should be a dandy. They were the co-champs in Division I last year. And I'll tell you what, Phillips gets hurt, but you know what? Next guy in. They have Rob Castellani. There's another name. If you're from Valley View, you're familiar with all the Castellanis up there.
Like the Sopranos.
Yeah. Castellani picked up the ball. He's got 458 yards rushing in replace of Phillips.
458 yards in replacement yards?
Yeah.
Wow, he must have been a Falcon.
Yeah. And now, number 3.
Number 3!
We gotta go talk about the Blue Devils of Old Forge. 4-0. Now,
Pizza Boys.
Now, I was a little skeptical about Old Forge. They didn't have their running back, they didn't have their quarterback, and they didn't have their wide receiver coming in the year. But you know what? These 3 guys just picked up the torch.
They tossed the dough into the air and ran with it.
Yeah. Brian Tomasetti, get familiar with that name as the season goes along.
Tomasetti.
The running back, he had 602 yards rushing for the year, and he had the big game. I think 140 yards against Dunmore last week in that 21-0 win. And Brandon Walls, their quarterback, like I said, he's just one of those guys. Get the ball to your kids on the perimeter. Anthony Piccoloni and Mike Vieira. Those are 2 names.
Piccoloni.
Yeah.
Big fan of the Piccoloni.
Yeah. You know what? They run the ball. They throw the ball. There's not much they can't do.
That's it.
And you know what? They have a big battle of the pizza.
Arcaros versus Ravellos, baby.
Yes,
Friday night.
Friday night at Taylor at Veterans Memorial Stadiums. The Old Forge Blue Devils against the Riverside Vikings.
Woo. Yelling Compton.
And I'll tell you what,
to Riverside.
tell you what, the Riverside fans, the players, you hate to say motivation's a factor in rivalry. You don't know, but 47-6 in the district final last year. You don't think that's being thrown around Taylor this week?
We get a prediction for that game. We predict that game.
You know what? Rivalry game, you can't predict it. It's got to be played.
Bugs, you got a thing against putting your name on the line for teams. You like to. I'm thinking someone in Ohio will win. Rings a bell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Bugs, tell me who's gonna win.
Cleveland against Cincinnati.
Cleveland, because they won. But anyway, that's 3. And you know what? I can't just make up my mind over who should be
2 versus 1. Is it 1 and 1A, or is there a
team
clear-cut one?
tied for 1?
Really?
They're tied for 1. I can't.
He actually does have that down the sheet.
I cannot say, because you know what? Delaware Valley and Scranton, you would think that they would at least get to their matchup in Week 8 undefeated. But you know what? Crazy things have happened. But right now they're tied for first. And with Scranton, it's business as usual. It's the Waiters to Quiller connection that have already hooked up. Quiller only an 11 receptions so far, but 274 yards.
They have another pretty good running back in that team.
Yeah,
His name sounds familiar.
Jake McCarthy this time. He's
Is he a Jonas brother?
Might as well be.
Barry DeJonas. No.
Wait. No. Never mind.
62 rushes, 611 yards this season. So do the math.
I'll try.
You don't want to ask this panel to do math.
Yeah, almost 10 yards a carry. With 11 touchdowns. So he's getting a touchdown every 6 times he touches the football.
23.687. No.
No, you're way off there, DJ.
Divided by pi.
Oh, I forgot pie.
Forgot the pie.
Carrot.
Carrot. Bugs Bunny. What's up, Doc?
Another one.
And at Delaware Valley, it's about the passing game. Brian Shore, he's committed. He's a senior. He's committed to the University of Miami of Ohio.
Sure he is.
Yeah, sure, I'm sure.
There's a good quarterback came from there, didn't he?
No.
Named Ben.
Nope.
Roethlis.
Nope.
Something.
Nope. We don't fuck him up. We do
rings.
not endorse him on the MattyVision.
Yeah, I got
Max, who's up next?
I call the doctor in contempt.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I second.
Like I said, quickly, Shore has over 1,000 yards passing this season, and his favorite target, Lucas Markowitz, 16 receptions, 340 yards. That's my top 10. I'm done. I'm turning it over to the DJ.
DJ, well, guess what? We had a little Falcons. Well, we missed a week here. Let me tell you what we missed in the week we didn't show. They all won! Again, because that's what Falcons do. They win. You know why they win? Because they put in the time, they put in the hard work, and it's a community, it's a family. Right there. Can you see? No, you can't because our camera girl ain't around. All right, this week we went to Wilkes Barre, as you say when you try to fit in around here. Wilkes Barre. It's very scary in Wilkes-Barre nowadays. They played the Bears. The A team won 31-7, which brings them to 6-0. B team 33-30 in a nail biter. They're at 5-1. C team, ready? 40-7.
40-7.
Done. 6-0 on the season, and the D team went 18-12, 6-0. Guess what? We're all locked in for the playoffs. Every Falcon team with 2 weeks. There's 2 more regular season games, and then we're rolling into the playoffs next week.
Do you think the Westside Falcons can beat the Atlanta Falcons? That's the question.
I think the Westside Falcons can mop
Who's a
up
better
whoever you
Falcon?
put on the field, as long as Coach Ken's still there,
Yeah.
and Coach Al.
Coach Allen's
And every other coach. Don't feel left out. They're just 2 legendary coaches. We're going into Monroe this weekend. This is going to be tough because they're all undefeated too, from what I'm hearing.
Unbeaten battles.
Yeah, it's going to be a very good game. Hopefully we get to film next week. I want to find out how this happens.
Where's Monroe ranked in your top 10? The McLovin
Double,
top 10.
double contempt. Double, triple contempt.
Oh, jeez.
You are not allowed to speak the rest of this segment.
Wow. Anyway, all the photos provided by Two Sisters Photography here. Going to pass it back to Muggs. Anything else, Muggs?
No, sir.
Muggs is ganging the babble then, and this has been end of part 1 of the Sports Report. That was the local segment. Stay tuned. Coming up soon, part
Dos.
2. Part 2, which is going to be the pros or whatever
National sports.
National sports. You're watching MattyVision.com. Muggsy McLovin dreams big.
Between you and me, can't you see? Can't you see? Yeah. Can't you see the difference between? Can't you see? Can't you see? Can't you see? Can't you see the difference between you and me? Can't you see? Yeah. Can't you see the line that's drawn between you and me? Well, I don't need once or twice I had my face knocked in the sand, but I've never been knocked down by the likes of you. You can jump, cuss, scream and swear, throw your fist way up high in the air, because I come on top again.